Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. UPI reports that U.S. Central Command initiated strikes on Iranian military sites following what it described as unprovoked missile, drone, and boat attacks on American warships in the Strait of Hormuz on Thursday. The U.S. attacks targeted ports near Bandar Abbas and Chesham, specifically focusing on missile and drone launch sites, command and control locations, and intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance nodes. While Iranian forces allegedly attacked the USS Truxtun, USS Rafael Peralta, and USS Mason, no U.S. vessels were hit. President Donald Trump commented on the situation via social media, calling the Iranian actions a love tap but issuing a warning to Iran, characterizing its leaders as lunatics. Despite the retaliatory strikes, Trump asserted that a ceasefire with Iran remains in effect. This incident unfolds amidst conflicting messages from the U.S., including the suspension of Project Freedom and the conclusion of Epic Fury, while Iran reviews a U.S. peace proposal. Iran's forces claim the U.S. strikes hit civilian areas and that the U.S. first violated the ceasefire by targeting an Iranian oil tanker. UPI reports that the U.S. Court of International Trade has ruled President Donald Trump's global 10% tariff illegal. This split decision found that Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, which Trump invoked for the tariff, does not apply. The court's ruling may place additional limits on the president's authority to levy tariffs. This 10% global tariff was imposed by the Trump administration after the Supreme Court had previously blocked other tariffs enacted in 2025, determining they were improperly levied under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Section 122 typically permits a temporary import surcharge of up to 15% for a maximum of 150 days, with congressional approval to prevent the depreciation of the dollar in foreign exchange markets. Several Democratic-led states and small businesses challenged the Section 122 tariff in the trade court. While the tariffs have currently only been blocked in the states that initiated legal action, the administration is expected to appeal the ruling. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a new warning to the European Union, threatening to impose significantly higher tariffs on EU imports if a previously agreed-upon trade deal is not fully implemented by July 4th, U.S. Independence Day. According to Thai Sounds, Trump posted on Truth Social on Thursday, May 7, 2026, stating he had spoken with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and demanded the EU meet its commitment to zero tariffs on U.S. industrial products within 2 months. This historic trade agreement made in Turnberry, Scotland, saw the U.S. reduce its tariffs on EU goods from 25% to 15%, while the EU promised zero tariffs on U.S. industrial products and partial exemptions for some agricultural and aquatic products. Von der Leyen confirmed the call on X, assuring that both sides are fully committed to the deal and progress is being made to lower tariffs by early July. However, legislative approval for these measures is reportedly moving slowly in the European Parliament, with some member states seeking stronger safeguard clauses. According to Lyondell Bao, Iranian state television reported early Friday, May 8th, that the situation in Iranian islands and coastal cities along the Strait of Hormuz has returned to normal hours after an exchange of fire with the United States. The report did not provide further details on the specific circumstances of the previous confrontation. The U.S. Central Command had issued a statement on May 7, indicating that 3 U.S. Navy missile destroyers, while transiting the Strait of Hormuz en route to the Gulf of Oman, had intercepted unprovoked attacks from Iran and responded with self-defense strikes. U.S. President Trump later posted on Truth Social, stating that 3 world-class U.S. destroyers successfully sailed out of the Strait of Hormuz under fire, adding that the 3 destroyers were undamaged, but Iranian attackers suffered huge losses. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, announced on the 7th that it has lifted the participation restrictions imposed on Belarus for international competitions. These restrictions were initially put in place following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The IOC's decision stems from its belief that athletes' participation in international competitions should not be restricted by the actions of their own government. Furthermore, the Belarusian Olympic Committee has been deemed sound by the IOC. This change means that Belarus, as a nation, now has a path to participate in the 2028 Los Angeles Games. In contrast, the IOC confirmed that restrictions against Russia will remain in effect. This decision is primarily due to ongoing investigations into doping issues involving Russian athletes. The news comes from Yttersides SCA Delcation Alue Matter Fins, Fruston. This decision is primarily due to ongoing investigations into doping issues involving Russian athletes. The news comes from every Yttersides Delcations It's Take Bill. Merely due. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.